Hey there, Drew Willis, Bremen High School. I wanted to introduce three issues that I believe have been the most important things, or the three issues that I've encountered in my coaching to date. The first one being a sense of entitlement by players. The second being, a parent issue or two I'll talk about, and then the third actually being involving me, transactional coaching versus transformational coaching. The first item, that sense of entitlement that I alluded to, it seems in this day and time, more and more I'm seeing that kids don't want to compete for position. They believe that the position should be theirs, or by rite of passage, or their classification, that they've kind of earned the right to be at that position. And in a sport like football or track, which I coach, I see that often. But in order to have a good team, you have to have kids who are willing to work. If you've got, I've had situations where I had 2 and 3 quarterbacks that were good, and I had to ask those quarterbacks to come every day and work hard, and the cream will rise to the top, and the best guy's going to get the job. And I've seen in college sometimes that when that happens, we're seeing it more and more where kids are just transferring out. They're looking for a greener pasture, and that is happening more and more. But a lot of that comes with a big me, a little team mentality. And we flip that around here at Bremen. We want to have a big team, a little me mentality, and that's led to a lot of success for us in our program, both in football and in track. The second issue being parents. And I always said that the only thing that would ever make me get out of coaching would be parents. And different situations create more or less stress, I guess you would say. But I'm seeing more and more that parents are kind of wanting to go and pave the way for their kids, whether that be wanting to get involved in a booster club or wanting to do this and that for the team, and hoping that, by them providing those services or those monetary donations, that, may get the coach to show some favoritism towards their kid, and that certainly cannot be the case. And of course, parents want to talk about playing time and all this. Well, we do a good job. I work for Davis Russell, nicknamed Rooster, who is the grandson of Erk Russell, a young guy, but he has done a great job. When we have setting the tone in our football program, and I've used it and carried it over in our track program, when we have our parent meeting, we let them know from the beginning, hey, we want you to be a fan of Bremen sports. You can be a fan of your son. That's awesome. We want that. But we want you to be for us, not just them. And we tell them, hey, there aren't going to be any conversations about playing time or positions that will be played. If you choose to be a part of the team, we as coaches are going to make the right decisions to put your child in the best position to be successful and help our team be successful. We've also instilled a chain of command. When there's a grievance with a player about, say, playing time or position, in terms of playing time, when a kid feels like they should be playing, they first and foremost have to go and have a conversation with a position coach, and position coach will tell them what he thinks they could be doing better. Into that conversation, and when they've gone back and worked and they're still not happy, then the player will have a conversation with the coordinator on that side of the ball. The coordinator will then tell them what they think needs to be done, or if a meeting has to be held between the coordinator, the position coach, and the player. That's very important that all three parties are there. And if at the end of that meeting the player still isn't satisfied, then a conversation can be had with the coach, and that is a chain of command that happens. Notice that the parents are never involved in that. We tell our parents in that first parent meeting, we are here to coach your kids. We coach kids, we don't coach parents. And we have had, I think going in our fourth year, we have had one parent issue. One parent actually want to have a meeting, because a lot of that stuff, we're preparing those young men to be young men. And so a lot of that turbulence or distracting issues that may come up are dealt with way before the parents get involved. And the third and final issue is transactional coaching versus transformational coaching. And I learned that in this master's program, the Joe Ehrmann book, Inside Out Coaching. And it had a huge impact on me, because I look at how I was as a young coach and where I am now as a more experienced coach who's had to jump around and move jobs and do all that. The transactional coaching to me, and this is just one of the faults that I find in what I do. Early on, I was a quarterback coming out of Valdosta State. We're in that air raid family, and the air raid was taking off. Everybody wanted to throw the football around. Well, I was being a quarterback in it, I knew the ins and outs. I knew the offense like the back of my hand, and so I was all about going around and just getting this job and trying to show how much I knew, trying to get the best players on offense, not the best players in the right positions for the team, but to maximize all the talent on the offense, to try to score as many points as we could, so that people could say, hey, look at Drew Willis, look at his offense, let's give that guy a job. I was always looking for that next job. And hey, I got some good jobs, but I also got fired for some jobs when I did have athletes and say the production wasn't there. So it's a kind of an evil that I created in my mentality, being transactional and trying to just take from players, not giving back to the players in the program, but trying to take the talents of my kids and trying to get them to help me look better so that I could get my next job. And as I've become a daddy, I've got a 6-year-old now and a 19-month-old. As I've become a daddy and I've moved around, and I landed in a great place like Bremen, Georgia, where you want your kids to grow up. You don't ever foresee yourself. You don't really want to move anymore. And you get tired of moving. You get tired of packing that house up. You get tired of seeing your wife have to leave her job and a daycare that you really love, a church that you really love, and then having to move on to the next place. And so that transformational, has changed me in that I'm really just trying to be a better person, be a better coach, and pour into kids, try to change their lives, taking the hand that I'm dealt with the kids, trying to grow them as much as I can, physically, mentally, and emotionally, spiritually, and just trying to pour all of my energy into the kids and trying to grow them. And I'm telling you, it has been ultra rewarding for me. We've built relationships with these kids here that I'm telling you, they haven't been nearly as talented as some of the kids that I've coached at other schools, but these kids here will run through a wall for me, for Coach Russell, for any coach on our staff. And it's all just been just a soul searching on my part and a change in mentality on my part, and me becoming a big team, little me person. And that's really helped change me. But that's the issues I've dealt with in coaching. Thank you.